Let's make sure that it is going to come up here. Let me refresh the page. Hey, there we are. All right, so we are live. Welcome, everyone, to Implausible Nature, your home for all things Black Templar. On today's video, we are talking about the obvious massive changes that are coming not only with Arcs of Omen, which we talked a little bit about recently, but also uh, the huge balance data slate and points changes that GW just dropped yesterday, I guess it was, right? So yeah, so pretty wild stuff here. We got a lot that remains to be seen. Uh-oh, I think we might have dropped a stream here. Hold on a second. I think we're still live. I think we're still live. OBS kind of kicked out for a second for me. But it looks like, yeah, we're good. Okay. Um, all right. So anyway, is the book worth $50? You know, I'm not going to condone pirating anything, but
I'm buying the book.
at the same time, you know, you should own a copy of your rules. That's what I always say. In some form or another, own a copy of your rules. I don't care whether it's physical or not, but own a copy of your rules. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, yes, Sword Bros with Gucci Kit Casey, um, and yeah, Blade Guard vets. You know what? I'm glad they didn't get a points drop. And I know Lux that you're disappointed. That they didn't. But and here's why. I'll tell you why. So one, I still think they're a very good value at 35 points. They got a storm shield, they got a damage 2 weapon, they got 3 wounds. I think they are still a really good pick at 35 points a model. I don't think they needed a points drop. But the real reason that I'm glad they didn't get one is because I don't want them to be any more points efficient uh, than Sword Brethren are now. As I really wanted some Sword Brethren to like really have like more of a niche, and I think they really do. We'll get into this a little bit here in a second, but I feel like the gap between Sword Brethren and uh, Blade Guard vets, as far as like, well, let's compare them because they seem similar. No, they're definitely have very different roles. So we'll get into that here shortly. So, um, in any case, um, so uh, we got. So where do you want to start, Bob? I don't even know where to start. So I guess the rumors were true. We lost AOC. Let's start there. We lost Armor of Contempt. This is really a huge sting to our durability as Space Marines. Um, I think, yeah, we gained sticky objectives. But honestly, I don't think that is going to come into play all that often in games. And we'll get into why here shortly. But I think losing AOC is really big. My initial first impression. So obviously we got a huge ton of points drops. A lot of lists went down hundreds of points. I think somebody posted on your list that we just posted, the shock and awe list, that it went down like 300 points or something like that, and then you found another like I think you found like another 200 points worth of free upgrades somewhere. So now if you were to build that list right now, it'd be over 2,500 points, but it goes down to 2,000. So honestly, overall, my opinion, maybe you feel differently, Bob. I don't really like that direction that they're taking Space Marines. I think I'd rather have more durable, more elite feeling Space Marines than cannon fodder. Now, is it going to help us win more games? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, having more dudes on the table, more Marines is always going to be good, and free gear is always going to be good. So those are my initial thoughts on this. I guess we'll see as the months pan out here throughout Arcs of Omen and see what how that shakes up. If we still feel like we're cannon fodder or not, I don't know. What are your thoughts, Bob?
I disagree on it. So initially, I was like, okay, AOC was a good thing for Space Marines, make sure have it. But the problem was they were starting to give it to a little bit of everything. So Sisters had it, um, we had Custodes had it, Guard had it, So it was starting to become like
Custodes never had AOC.
AP1. Okay, the Guard
Grey
had it
Knights,
though on
guard
the
and the vehicles,
uh,
yeah. Almost everyone
and
else had it.
so it was like, okay, now it's becoming the new uh, AP-1. So it like was starting to get a little bit irrelevant. But the reason why I'm not really super disappointed in it, yeah, some of our units became a lot better. You didn't have to take storm shields and things of that nature with it. But this is an equalizer uh, for Space Marines, but it is a slight buff or revert to uh, Uphold and Black Templar's durability. It makes Uphold relevant again,
The
or more
default.
relevant again.
The default.
Uh, well, it is going to be the default, but on the other side of things, now you can use litanies uh, to go into other vows if you need to.
Yeah.
So it makes that no one even look at that anymore because we could just take accept any challenge against other Marines.
And
And
it makes Sword Brethren even just that much better because you're gonna slap that 5++ on there on them and then stick fervent on them for whatever other thing, and they're gonna ignore all the passions. And
yeah,
they're so efficient now for what you get. You get a lot of stuff on them now for 22 points a model.
yeah, and honestly, just like Crasher mentioned, our AP-1 is more effective because
Yeah.
AOC doesn't. So chainswords, flamers, pyre pistols, now are free on a lot of things now.
Yep.
So that is the AP-1, so that's relevant. Uh, so I think it's a stealth buff. Well, I say buff, but it's basically bring us back out to uh,
Being
supplement
the durable
release.
Marines again.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, now we do have Dark Angels that are going to be ridiculously durable because they have free Terminators. They're going to be rocking OBSAC everywhere. But in general, we can take tons of bodies,
Yeah.
even if we're using MSU, for really cheap and have that 5 up invul and the mini transhuman if we need it. So
Something
that's a
to note with Dark
SKUless.
Angels, and we'll get into this when we talk about Battle Brothers and allies, because I don't know what GW is thinking. The Battle Brothers is so ridiculous. Like, it's just dumb. Because of the way the Arcs of Omen detachment works, and because of the way that the wording is in it, you can only take an Arcs of Omen detachment. And the only other detachment you can take is an allied patrol or super heavy ox. And the only allies that you can take are the ones listed in the book. That means the only allies that Space Marines or any Imperium army can take is Knights, because it says them, and Votan. Can't ally with Sisters. Can't ally with Guard. I don't understand that. That's bizarre to me. But that means that Dark Angels players, if they want to run pure Deathwing and get OBSEC Terminators, or pure Ravenwing, if they have to fill out their Arcs of Omen detachment with nothing but Deathwing. They can't run any Green Wing in that detachment at all, and they can't take a second detachment of Green Wing to give them some, whatever, because so to fill out points or whatever, which is apparently. I've heard that Dark Angels players are having trouble filling out the points because there's no more upgrades for them to spend points on. So it's a really bizarre thing. I've never thought that I would see this, and maybe GW is going to FAQ it because it doesn't make sense to me that like the only allies who we could take are Votan. Like I don't understand that. So anyway, so I mean, yeah, Dark Angels are going to have a lot of free stuff. A lot of Terminators. But at the same time, they're also having trouble filling their rosters with nothing but Deathwing. So yeah. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. So I think it brings us back to the supplement release, and kind of the way that we wanted to play originally was with that durability that is going to make us really tough. And we have a lot of toys to really bring that back. We also have Icon of Hyman, makes that relevant again.
It was
On
still
things.
relevant before, it just only really relevant on Storm Shield models. Now you can put it on Terminators again without, worrying about whether they have
Yep.
Storm Shield or not. You can put it on Centurions if you so desire. Gravis troops like Arads
Mhm.
or Aggressors might be worth taking. Apparently Inceptors are good. Um, so I just,
Basically, what I feel like it brings the supplement back to the way it was designed to be
yeah,
played.
yeah,
So AOC kind of messed with that and really kind of, yes, it was a buff in general, but I feel like it buffed everyone too much and not enough of the focused, Astartes on that because there was a lot of things. Now, losing it brings sisters back into playability, and obviously it would have been really broken with the guard and other different
yeah,
things that are out there. So guard are going to be probably the the toughest battle that we have right now. Their book is really really good.
yeah. So, what are your thoughts? I kind of gave my initial thoughts. What are your thoughts on sticky objectives?
It's nice to have, might be situationally useful, but
I don't
with the
think it's
way that
like game-breakingly good like people think it is.
no,
And
it's not.
yeah, and the reason is because most other armies are faster than us anyway. We're not as durable anymore. Well, Black Templars are, probably more durable than most Marines, but just Marines in general, we're not as durable anymore. So we're gonna die a lot faster. Well, the thing where I see we're not going to be leaving our objective, our deployment zone, unless we know for sure our opponent doesn't have any, um, one, really fast things that can just snatch that objective back from us, or two, deep striking stuff, because we still want to screen, right? And then the
Mhm.
other thing, the thing where I can see that it coming into play is something like my dudes are on this objective, and my opponent is like, towards the end of the game, I'm gonna blast you off because you only got one guy left, so I'm gonna kill him off that objective. But then they gotta go and take it too. So that's where it could be a difference maker. Um, but I don't think that it's as amazing as some people are making it out to be.
I think it has some play with uh, guerrilla tactics
Hmm.
and
Yep.
Phobos Marines. But again, I feel with the change to strategic reserves, and
Another
that
good
being
change that
free,
I like.
that is a good change. It's going to be free, but everyone is going to be doing it now.
Yeah.
So they're going to be coming in, and you have to protect your objectives because everyone's going to be coming into reserve. You
Yep.
might be useful on turn 4 and 5 when you're running out of things to basically hold objectives with, and you need to capture something
Right.
and
Especially if
prevent
something
potential.
fast, like maybe Outriders now. How long have I been saying Outriders need to be 30 to 35 points a model?
Maybe,
A long time,
maybe.
maybe. But something fast, jump pack troops, right? I'm going to land on this objective and then I'm going to go run off of it. And you really don't have, at turn 4 or 5, maybe your opponent doesn't really have much else to cap that back from you. So,
Now, it's important to note that the sticky objectives only works if it's a troop unit.
yeah, that's true. Troops. It's got to be troops.
Yep.
So thank you for that. I forgot about that. Which is another reason why it's not as good as people think it's going to be, right? And people are like, "Oh, it's a reason to still run troops." Well, troops are really cheap now. Like, so there's not a lot of reason to not take troops when you can spend like two 250 points and have like three troops. Like, okay, like that's worth to me. Um,
Yeah,
Lux
especially the utility.
Lux is asking, what about Stern Guard veterans? I was sleeping on them. I guess they can bring a lot of good combi stuff, and even their special issue bolt gun. They are not bad compared to intercessors. They did not get a points drop. I have the sheet right here. Let's take a look.
They
Stern
do got
Guard.
free equipment.
They do got free equipment. So they're still 20 points a model, which is not bad. But here was my thing with the Stern Guard, and I guess now it's kind of because they have free gear. It's kind of just a trade-off, right? When you swap to a combi weapon, you lose your special issue war gear or special issue bolt gun. Um, so you're losing the AP2, I think they are. It's been so long since I looked at Stern Guard.
Yep.
Funny enough, I have a 10-man painted squad of Stern Guard. Anyway, uh, they you lose that gun, which was kind of one of their bonuses. But now that the combi weapons are free, that's kind of a better trade-off. Or not, I'm not saying like always take combi or not, but it's a more equal trade-off, right? I'm already paying for this special issue bolt gun, and then I'm gonna pay more points for a subpar combi weapon. No, especially when they're like they were like 10 points a piece or 5 points a piece. But if they're free, all right, you know, uh, I don't know. I like that heavy flamers on them are free.
Yep.
Which, if some of you remember, if you're on the Discord, some of you might remember, that's my meme squad of flamers with the Beast Pyre, a heavy flamer, and combi flamers. And it's like five flamers in one squad. So
The
burn the witch,
witches.
burn the witches. What do you think, Bob? Do you think we'll see any Stern Guard play?
It's potential. I think they probably would work well in a drop pod.
Hmm.
If you want to go that route.
Yeah.
Uh, if you're walking them, I think they're still too close range to really be effective. You
Hmm.
need a delivery method.
Yeah.
Maybe rhinos might be making a comeback for something like that, possibly in the savings. Well,
But
I don't know.
Rhinos didn't
Now,
really get any discounts.
they didn't, but they're still fairly cheap. But we
But
didn't really have anything to
Razorbacks,
put them in.
Razorbacks, you can now take a twin las cannon for 100 points in a troop transport. That's not bad. That's not bad. Now I don't know what you put in it because Stern Guard maybe. I don't know. There's not really any good units to put in it. That's the problem.
Yeah. So I mean, there's options. Uh, Drop pods are kind of the go-to. Also with kind of like the Stern Guard, you have the Devastator Squad that are now free for pretty much everything.
Yep.
So Meltas,
They
multi
did go up
Meltas,
in points. They're 23 points a model now. But you're still netting out savings. I did the math. The Grav Dev squad that we were running was 135 points. The new one is 115. So you're still saving 20 points. But they are more expensive per model. Which, if I guess if you were running more basic guys, you're paying more. But I don't know why you'd ever do that. That's
yeah.
weird to me. So
Mick says, good to see the IN backdrop and t-shirts. So little known fact is I wear my t-shirt every single video. You
we
just
were
couldn't
talking.
see it.
We were talking about
And I
this before
zoomed
the
out.
video. Yeah. Bob's like, everyone's talking about me wearing my T-shirt, and he's like, I wear this. I wear this shirt all the time. Nobody ever sees it because you're too close.
So I zoomed out. So
So, so now you can see it. Yeah. Um,
yes, Plasma
Orion says,
Inceptors.
yeah, MVP. I hate to admit it, they are really good.
Yep.
But
So
my thing, I hate the models. Somebody show me a conversion that looks good, and I'll buy some. But man, I hate the models. I don't know if I can run them, Bob.
so in my particular list, so right now I'm like in trade mode. So like we've done several videos on it. I'm
Yep.
building lists that kind of tier to that, and I'm probably going to continue playing lists in that respect, unless the Arcs of Omen missions kind of totally like dump that on their head. But because they're fast, I like them more than I like the Hellblasters. Um, or that even though they are more apt to blow themselves up because they have two different guns. Um, so there's that, but they are fast. So um, and they're really cheap for what they do. Um,
I think you froze, Bob. Give me 1 second here. I'm gonna fix it. There we go. Yeah. I mean, there's no denying they're good. I just hate the models, so I'm looking for ways to justify not taking them.
yep.
I have limitations. Also, I think the supplement expired this month anyway. As far as the uh, what do you call it? I forget what GW was calling it. The thing that tells you when stuff is good till um, chart. So the Inquisitors,
Most of them.
yeah, most of them, and the Inquisitors were on there. So I don't think you can take Inquisitors anymore.
I already took them out
Yeah,
because that's something that we might maybe can segue into is the secondary changes.
yeah.
So the reason why I took an Inquisitor is because of the psychic secondaries that made it more reliable. I could do uh, psychic interrogation or warp ritual, so that was a pretty reliable 12 to 15 points. Uh, I don't think we need to now because we got Oath of Moments back. So there are videos out on YouTube right now that are people are reviewing Arcs of Omen Grand Tournament book early. They
Well,
unfortunately,
the pre-order's tomorrow, right?
yeah, but
Yeah.
it got
So
released a couple days early,
so
so
the
they might be able to lift
embargo,
their
yeah. Well,
embargo.
well, yeah. They probably lifted it because of all the leaks about everything. So,
So
because I don't think they were gonna release this balanced data slate and points update until after ARCs came out. So,
yeah,
but
so we have Oath of Omens. Basically, they reverted all the nerfs on it. So your two
good.
points, 1 point, 1 point, and any unit, as long as it's within the 6 inches of the center, can take it. So your
And I
Centurions
now
can take your center.
I haven't had a chance to really review that Goonhammer article. I presume Shock Tactics is still 4, right?
Yep.
So that's did they change banners? I heard some mixed things about whether banners changed or not.
No, they did not.
Did
So
not change it?
they did not change it. So it's
Okay.
still the same.
Okay.
So
So there's our 3 good secondaries right there. I mean, Shock Tactics and Oaths are going to be very much go-tos for Space Marines. Um, do we know what our secondaries are as Black Templars? Did they talk
yes,
about them?
yep. It is. I have to look it up because I don't remember. Carry out your vows.
Oh, that's the only one we
That's the
have?
yep.
They
They
got rid of the
reduced
others?
in every codex, in every supplement. If you are a supplement to a main faction, you only get one secondary.
Well,
So they
that's a shame.
deleted a lot of secondaries.
Wow.
And of course, we kept our worst one.
Yeah.
So, and there apparently is no change to it that I've seen
Yeah.
or heard. Um,
Orion says carry out your vows is good. Don't sleep on it. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean,
Here's the
there
problem.
is.
Here's the problem with carry out your vows now. Is we have to kill more stuff in melee than they kill, period. Well, we just have like 300 to 400 more points of models on the table now. So we're going to have a lot more units than most of our opponents, which means we're not going to it's going to be harder to kill more in melee than they kill at all. Which
Unless
is
you take a skew list. If you take
unless you
a
took a skew list.
big durable blocks of infantry where they're not going to be able to kill you very easily, then it has potential. You're taking 20-man Crusader
Like
squads.
100 Crusaders maybe. You know,
I
just
mean,
saying.
that's possible. Um,
I'm just saying. 100 Crusaders is only 1,580 points. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Look at Bob's face.
I got
I
my
told
book.
him
I got my book right
I
here.
told him my new meta list was gonna be Helbricht, Grimaldus, 2 Primaris Lieutenants, 100 Crusaders, and 3 Servitors. uh,
I shake my head.
Eric says, "Bring the 100 Crusaders." I just for fun, I really actually kind of want to play it on TTS because it'll be hilarious, right? So maybe we'll uh, maybe we'll do that one day. I'll play somebody with a 100 Crusader list and see what happens. It'll be like a 6 hour marathon because it'll be like, all right, 2 hours in, my first turn is done. I've moved all my models.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So
So when we start playing TTS, because we're gonna start doing that real soon here, I gotta
yes,
learn it real quick. So we're gonna get some battle
I
reports.
convinced him. Everyone, I convinced Bob to play.
Alex and I are on the other side of the country, so we can't obviously play each other.
Yeah,
But to get some of those battle report out to you guys and do some
yeah.
tactics and such, we're gonna just start doing TTS. I know it's not ideal, but we're gonna do that. But that's if he wants to take his 100 Crusader list, then I'll slaughter it.
It'll be
That's
funny. Eric wants to play me with his 60 Dire Avengers and 60 Guardians. Bring it. Let's do it. Bounce
uh,
your shurikens off my 5
Crasher.
plus plus.
Crasher TTS is called Tabletop Simulator. During the pandemic, it kind of rose to prominence because no one could actually play in
Play in
person.
person, yeah.
So it's a computer-based simulator that has all the rules and such built into it, and it's really kind of a cool thing. But it's a little bit finicky, so that's one of
It
the
can
reasons why I
be
never
moving stuff can be
made that.
janky with it because what will happen is you'll like grab your squad of guys, and what's cool is it'll measure as you move your guys. So you'll be moving your dudes, and they'll clip some piece of terrain, and suddenly they'll all clump together, and you'll be like, well, unfortunately, there's a hotkey to like just snap them back to where they were originally. So it can be a little janky, but at the same time, when you can't have like in-person games because like I'm on the East Coast of the United States, Bob is in the middle of the country. uh, the US is huge, so it makes it really hard for us to actually play a real game in person. This would be a solution, and it'll be also a way for us to like get some battle reports out for you. So we're working on doing that, and doing something along those lines. I think it'll be fun. It'll give us a chance to show you how some of these lists that we talk about work. Bob can like talk through certain things about the game, about strategy, and all that kind of stuff. So I think it'll be cool. I'm working up how to like make it so that we can do um, do it like the real live in person battle reports are, where they have like different camera shots. So I'm working out how to do that. I haven't quite 100% figured it out, um, but um, but we'll get there, and it'll be pretty cool. Um, so yeah, if you have any suggestions on that, uh, pop them in our Discord for sure. Speaking of which, a quick shout out to our Discord folks. It's been really active lately. If you're not on our Discord, come check it out. Really great place to talk about our army and all the crazy stuff that's going on right now. It's really really active at the moment, which is awesome. We also have a Patreon if you guys want to support us. So we greatly appreciate all of the support from our patrons. So yeah. Um, so let's let's talk to get get into some of these points. Let's look at some of these units that we've been running, and how they've changed now. Obviously, I think probably uh, the most notable change is the fact that Van Vets didn't really change. They got some free stuff, But Thunderhammer still cost points. They're 10 points now instead of 12, so they get a little discount. Power Fist went down to 5 instead of 8. So again, Fist of Balthus guy is now even cheaper, which is great. Um, the Storm Shield, Jump Pack, Lightning Claws all cost the same. They went up 1 point per model. They're now 20 points per model. But they get free power swords. So if you want free power weapons, you can get free power weapons. So I think they're going to basically work out to be approximately the same points, depending on what you're taking. Maybe a little higher. But to be honest, some people are lamenting the fact that they didn't get stupid cheap. Um, I'm personally not, because I'm tired of ripping my van vets apart and building them with different options as it keeps changing. Uh, you're not going to notice the few points difference that they are in the sea of free points of other stuff that we're getting.
That's ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
if even if you count just the troops discounts, well, that pays for
Yeah.
it. So,
Yeah. Um, Primaris
but
Crusader squads are now 158 points. That's
yeah,
silly. Like, literally, like, I'm considering people are talking about, oh, I don't have to run as many troops anymore. I'm considering running more troops. Like, take 2 or 3 squads of, probably 2 squads of like infiltrators because they're super cheap now. The Helix is free or incursors, and then a couple squads of crusaders as on top of that. Um, I think I think that's something that could be viable is running more than the minimum troops and not using. I don't think we'll be using the troop requirement, Bob. I think we're still going to go with making it the 3 elites as our required thing for this detachment because it gives us the 6 slots plus 3 characters. Um, and there's still plenty of troop slots if we want to take troops.
yeah, I think that's still. I'm probably still going to be running 2 to 3 troops, probably 3, and go in the elite slot. Though I don't think I'm going to need the extra. It'll be rare lists that I even tap into the extra elite character. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's possible. You know, I use MSU typically in my list, so it's possible. But I really like the changes. Before we dig into more of the other stuff and troops, I love that they made adjustments to troops because
Yes.
even though
More than any other unit, troops needed to go down, and they went down, I think, an appropriate amount. I'm really pleased with the troops.
you combine the points discount with them plus getting free equipment, um, incursors get free mines, which is basically if you're running a trade list like I do and you're going to the no man's land objectives, having a mine deters an assault on them. Basically, you know, it's a free D3 mortal wounds that you're for free putting on whatever unit charges you. So that makes trading with your opponent even easier. You got the Helix Gauntlet that's free. Infiltrators aren't going to do a ton of damage. They're going to do some incidental damage with their
I mean, outside the
auto wound.
mine, neither are incursors. Their
But,
bolt guns suck. They've got, AP1, which is, I guess, good now, and there's knives, but
yeah,
they don't have the volume of attacks to really do anything other than kill guardsmen.
yeah. You take them for their concealed position, but the infiltrators are really kind of important as a backline. Hold your objectives because the Helix Gauntlet will give you extra durability, especially when you combine with Uphold now. And you could do transhuman to get the bigger transhuman if you want. You also have smoke uh, that you could launch on them, so they have that ability to get the -1 to hit. Um, but obviously, you know, you'd be pumping a bunch of CP on them. But they're really cheap, and then you have the 12-inch bubble that no one can deep strike, no one can come into your reserves on that. So, I mean, if you take 2 units of them, good luck trying to get into your deployment zone. I probably will still stay with 1 and then the 2 incursors, but I mean, there's no deterrent. I mean, good luck trying to find those Helix gauntlets though on eBay. I already looked just to see nothing in sight. So I hope you got
I've
some.
got an extra one. We're gonna start the bidding at $500, and all of it's gonna go fund my plastic toy hobby. No, I'm just kidding. I do have an extra one though, so I could run 2 squads now. But yeah, it's funny we're talking about this. Crasher just asked, incursors versus infiltrators. As BT player, what's your opinion on the better option when you only have one box set of them? I
If you
think
only have one,
I think
infiltrators.
infills. Yeah,
Yep.
infills. However, you could do what I did because I hate the incursor. I built mine when incursors were the hot thing. Like infills were too expensive. Incursors were where it was at. But I hate those heads. They're so terrible. And I hated the little thingy on their backpack, like, and the scopes on their gun. It was all just too sci-fi for me. Like, it's not grimdark enough, right? I felt like they were more like an Infinity model than a 40K model, and I love Infinity. Don't get me wrong, but I felt like they. So what I did was when I built my infiltrators, I gave them the little double knives, of course. Um, I cut the aerial off the backpack, so it's just a normal Space Marine backpack, and I swapped out all their heads for Black Templar helmet heads. Um, and I used the guns instead of the infiltrator or the incursor scope part. I used the infiltrator part because it feels more like a 40K gun with like three regular scopes on it for some random. I mean, that's like classic 40K, right? Let's have three scopes on one gun because who knows why? Why not? I remember the old Sword Brethren bolt pistols that had like two or three scopes on them, and it reminded me of that. So I call them
Infocursors.
I call them info cursors. I could realistically run them as either, I guess. But customize them up, make them Black Templar, and really realistically, as long as your opponent knows which squad is which on the tabletop, as long as they're Phobos Marines, nobody cares. So build what you think looks cool. Don't worry about necessarily their exact representation. So, because I'm gonna
And
run them
this
as
is
both.
and this is not to discount like they can be comboed, like the infiltrators can be comboed. Maybe you take one infiltrator unit for your back, and then you take two primary uh, Crusader squads, and
Yeah,
those are your other two bulk things. So they combo really great with those things, or maybe two infiltrators and one giant block of uh, Crusader squads to go down the center. So you got a lot of options now,
I think.
and our troops are good. They're good? Why are you not taking them? I
Yeah,
know the Ark's Omen say you don't have to, but why are you not?
yeah.
Really? Come on.
I think. I think infiltrators and incursors actually both serve different purposes. I think infiltrators you want in your deployment zone, even
Yep.
though they have concealed positions. You want them on your side of the board, screening out your opponent with those huge omni scramblers. And the incursors you want on those midfield objectives as bait. Come and charge me and take three D3 mortal wounds, please, and then I'm gonna trade with you. Those are those two units' roles, in my opinion. And why not? Where's the little gif of the girl? Why not both? We got the points. Infiltrators are 100 points per squad, and incursors are 8 and 90. Okay, so
Yeah, and then there's nothing saying that you even have to take them because there's other lists. This points adjustment really opens up our list building completely. I talked about having uphold, and someone mentioned it earlier. I'm not sure where. Maybe Daniel. I see you. Yeah, Space Marine meta is going to be infantry for the Black Templars. I would say.
yeah,
I think there's Iron Hands are going to be exceptionally strong with this, and they're going to be taking a lot of vehicles. So you're going to, in the internal meta, you're going to need to be able to deal with vehicles
yeah,
because you're going to see a resurgent in Iron Hands player. A ton of them. All those Iron Hand armies that got sold and people are just holding on to them, they're coming back out to a tournament near you.
yep.
So
Speaking of vehicles, some really juicy points cost drops on these vehicles. The Gladiator Valiant is now 170 points. I'm taking it over a Redemptor, honestly, or in addition to Redemptors. 170 points. Also, keep in mind, if you take a look, they removed our extra War Gear box. What does that mean? That means that all that stuff is free, including our extra multi melta. So now you got a Valiant with three multi meltas and the last talons, and yeah, so the Valiant is absolutely worth taking now. It is a really good tank. I could see us running some sort of pseudo like mixed, because I still think we want to take a lot of infantry because they're cheap. But we could be also be running like a couple of impulsors and a gladiator and a couple of redemptors and have like an armored face and then a horde of infantry behind it. I think it could be viable, and we have the points to do it now. Orion says 125 point gladiator lancer. I still think the gladiator lancer is terrible. And the reason is because its side sponsons are either storm bolters or frag assault launchers, which is um, yeah. Even the impulsor has or the Reaper has the better side storm thing. They're like AP1 and they have more shots. Um, and then the Lancer's main gun, while the profile in and of itself is solid, it's like two shots. I think for the same amount of points, I'm going to take a Storm Speeder Hammer Strike or spend 10 points more and get a Thunder Strike with BS2. And yeah, it's less durable, but it has fly and it has more shots of high value. And it's fast. So so yeah, I don't think the Lancer is worth taking. I think the Valiant is still where it's at for BT. The Reaper is good. Like who doesn't like a ton of shots? But we really don't need anti-infantry. We're good at that. We need tank stuff, tank killing stuff, and six multi-melta shots is awesome.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good tank to take. Um,
Reaver
but
says
just be
uphold
careful.
makes our vehicles pretty decent as well. Yes, a 5++ on a tank is awesome, especially a tank that costs 170 points. So, so yeah, so speaking of other interesting options, you mentioned troops. Our troops are really cheap and good now. We like that. A lot of these, uh, all the characters went down. Grimaldus and Helbert are hilariously cheap. Grimaldus 120 points. What? I would have still took them at 140. Helbert is worth 100. They're both worth their original points costs, and now they're 20 points cheaper each. Okay. Even the
Other
Emperor's Champion.
staples. Yeah,
Yeah, Emperor's Champion went down. We have 4 HQ slots now, so that's not an issue anymore. I don't. Uh, I think if you're running the right list, I think he needs to go in an impulsor. I think he's too slow otherwise. He needs to be an impulsor, probably with some sword bros or some blade guard vets. But I think he's perfectly fine to take. He's 90 points. We got tons of extra points now, and he's a good character killer for that.
he's good at killing chaff too. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, he'll kill
you throw him.
Marines.
He'll kill some Marines. He'll kill some Terminators if they don't have invols, or I should say storm shields. But
Carlos
yeah,
says Hellblasters might make an appearance again.
yeah, they might. Yeah, you can put them in
30
impulsors.
points. 30 points a model. Are they as points efficient as frickin' Inceptors? No. But are the models much better? Yes. Yes, they
So
are.
I
So
staple HQs that are going down. Chaplains on bike that went down.
10 points.
So 10 points. So that one's
And the
we
chapter command all went down points. So Chief Apothecary is down 5 to 30. Master of Sanctity is down 5, I
20.
think, to 20. Master of the Forge is down 5 to 15. Um, that's really the only ones we care about. So yeah, that all makes them cheaper too whenever we decide to take those characters. Something I'm really tempted by now, especially given the extra HQ slot and the vast amount of extra points I have, is a Primaris Lieutenant or two. He's 65 points, and you can take the Storm Shield dude or one of our Castellans with their cool guns. Um, I'm really kind of tempted by that. What do you think, Bob? Look at his face.
Maybe it's free equipment.
It's free equipment, and he's only
There
65 points for reroll
that's
ones to wound.
that that's true. But there is a lot of armies out there that now I'm looking at you, Votan, that say no,
No to
no.
reroll wounds. Yeah, well, I mean, there's what, two armies? Salamanders and Votan, they're the only ones you can't reroll wounds against. Who
Well,
else is there?
they took the salamanders away because of
Oh, they did.
AOC.
Oh,
So
so they
they
reverted
switched it.
back.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
now the salamanders are AOC and then don't have
Okay.
that reroll.
Yeah.
So, but there's other things that could turn off your rerolls. So, I'm kind of inclined if you're going to be going outside of your double chaplain or Helbrecht,
I
use
mean,
that.
chaplains are cheap now, too. It's 75 points for a Primaris chaplain.
Honestly, I think that EC is kind of something kind of spicy. Use them with the
I
Judicar.
I want to take him. I want to take him. I got my
But
I got my Bayard's Revenge model built right here that needs some paint and love. Maybe that would happen.
so I know that Space Marines really kind of rely on rerolls, but the problem is when we face an army that can turn them off, we fold quickly
Yeah,
because we don't have things that are able to do a ton of damage in spite of not having rerolls. So I think
right.
the Emperor's Champion is a great piece to have in your army potentially with all these discounts because he's good no matter what. So even without his rerolls against like characters and such, he does have a place. So and for 90 points, I mean,
He's gonna kill some
but
stuff. Don't forget, everyone, that we have a strat. It is 2 CP, but we have a strat where you can force an enemy character to fight you,
yep.
which is funny. So yeah. Um, so I'm tempted by a lieutenant because they're very cheap. Sometimes you're like, I got 60 something points left, and I don't know what to spend it on. I'll take a lieutenant. Of course, now there's also a lot of other things that are in that price range. Land speeders are now just 60 points for the multi melta. The basic version continues to be way better than the other two, which are garbage. I don't know why I'd pay 10 points for a frickin' assault cannon, which is trash. Uh, or 40 points? 40 points for the Typhoon missile launchers? No, not a chance. Not a chance. 40 points is nuts for that. Um, so those are garbage, but the basic land speeder, 60 points went down. Attack bike went down 10 points. It's multi-melts is free now. Um, what else is kind of interesting here? Aggressors are 30 points a model.
Yep.
So that's interesting. I've always kind of thought that they were interesting. I'm tempted by the with our especially with our strat, which I don't know if it's worth 2 CP on them or not, but it sounds fun, right? All those flamers, because it doesn't work on Centurions, and that's disappointing to me.
Yep. But they are still pretty good. They're a cheaper version of Centurions. They're almost as durable. They don't put out as much damage, but they are still pretty legit
Yep.
at the a good price point now. Honestly, we just don't really buff them
Right.
as much as other armies do.
Yeah.
But
We don't
they're
have
good.
any strats like Salamander is going to be like, here's all of the maximum 18 aggressors because why not with flamers?
Yeah,
Because they
I
really
mean
synergize with that stuff. So
they're going to be 5-inch movement just like Centurions, but like with Centurions, you can basically make a tank with them.
and they got an
With
extra wound,
yep.
and they're
So
way better in melee.
that's the
Um,
thing. They compare in shooting, but they don't compare in close
I don't
combat.
even think they compare in shooting because a single centurion, has the same shooting as uh, both types of aggressor combined because they have two flamers and hurricane bolters. Speaking of centurions, so the models themselves went up 5 points. They're 60 points a model now, but you don't have to pay 10 points per model for hurricane, so that's a 5 point model per model discount. So the squad went down 25 points, I guess, if my math is right.
Yeah, if you take
Um,
the
so I'll take a 25-point discount on Centurions. They're not as dumb as they were. Brother Sergeant Chadius lost a little bit of his luster. But you can still take a -1 damage Centurion with champion of the feast and all the extra wounds and everything. So, um,
Yeah, it's still pretty durable. They were good before AOC.
yeah, yeah. And now the invul will be relevant on them. If they get hit by AP4, which they will, you can
Yep.
bet on that. Um,
All right, so
so
we're coming to the thing that I kind of really wanted to talk about, and
yeah,
we very very briefly touched on it.
yeah,
So the impulsors,
yes, the
the
impulsors.
impulsors. So
I wanted to talk
we
about the
got
impulsors too.
a
We got
lot of comments on Reddit from our last video about
about
we're
how they
taking
suck.
impulsors and
They
terrible, blah
suck.
blah blah blah. And now,
Warhammer Competitive did not like our list as much as we thought that we liked our lists.
so the
That was
amount
funny.
of
There were a
comments
lot of haters.
I've been reading Reddit and the discords, the multiple Black Templar discords, including ours, and Facebook, and everyone is like impulsors, impulsors, impulsors. They didn't change. I mean, they got cheaper, but now everyone's like, oh, impulsors are good for X, Y, Z. I'm like,
They were good for
that's what
that
I
before.
said.
They were just
They
more
do those
expensive.
things.
Um,
So but they're great because now they're 100 points and you can totally full Gucci them
yep.
with a multi melta
So
and
obviously
the
we're
missiles.
we're taking a multi melta. Do you think the missiles are the best option?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think so
Because
too. It
then you
gives you
could you
another
can
high strength shot if you need it.
yeah.
It's got flexibility. You could shoot flyers with no penalty. You got a frag thing, so it gives you a few options to do stuff, which I like. We don't need the dome, uh, and we're not taking the iron hail over the multi
The
melta.
multi-melt.
So,
And you
um,
get the two storm bolters with it, so it does give
yep.
extra shots against
Hmm.
things like, oh wait, guard are out there. And then when you're going to be talking about Necrons, you're probably going to be shifting from Immortals to the Warriors
Yeah, they went
due
down
to
a
the
point.
changes.
They went down a point. 11 points
So
per model now.
and they lost OBSEC on their most commonly used army build, so they're going to have
No,
to go to Novak. Well, okay.
they
So
didn't
they
lose
still have
OBSEC.
OBSEC, but they can't combine it with the free advance in the
Right.
beginning of the game.
The
So no one's going
relentlessly
to take it over
expansionist.
Novak, and
Uh,
Novak is not the best.
you're thinking of I think it's Neelathak or whatever. The
Yeah,
one that
maybe.
the one that has the army wide obsec and it has something
Yeah,
else. Yeah, no one's gonna take that over the named one. Um, so um, so yeah, uh they had some points drops too. I think the monolith went down
yeah.
30 points or something like that. I
I
wish
don't
the
think
monolith
anyone's going to take it though.
I wish the monolith were good. It needs fly or something. I don't know. It's so hard to maneuver that thing on the battlefield because it's a freaking like textbook size model. It's huge. Um,
Heresy, heresy.
Listen, my Necrons are cool, and you know it.
But
Anyway,
the moral of the story is there's a lot of imagery that's going to be coming out, even against Space Marines. Stormbolters are relevant. Hurricane bolters, anything that you can have a large amount of shots, even if they have AP or not,
yeah,
against infantry that is inevitably coming. As much as you can get on the board is a good thing because you're going to say lose or miss those saves. So, I mean,
yeah.
if you're rolling a handful of dice, you're going to lose a bunch. So,
So speaking of Necrons, and I want to bring this up because it will be relevant to us. Um, GW FAQ'd things that ignore wounds, like Catan, not like the Nightbringer ignores wound caps and things and feel no pains and stuff. They FAQ'd it to include things that reduce damage. So like if something that ignores wounds, or that ignores wounds. You know what I'm talking about. Uh, hits our dreadnoughts, we don't get -1 damage on them. So keep that in mind. I don't know how much we'll see the Nightbringer. Probably still a fair amount. I mean, he's still a good take, but he ignores -1 damage now, as well. So, which also means doesn't aren't there still one or two models out there that are like take half damage? something like that. Oh, the new Lord Commander guy for guard. I think he takes half damage.
Sisters. I forget her name.
Yeah, yeah. Celestine, is it Celestine?
No, not
No,
Celestine. It's
the
the other one.
the walking church thing. I don't know.
Yes.
Oh, the battle suit chick.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think she's just -1. Either way, he ignores it. Anyway, so just something to
But
be aware of.
so getting back to the impulsors, awesome.
Impulsors,
So
100 points.
you can
Why
put, as
why are
mentioned
you
earlier,
taking many of them in your list? How many impulsors do you have? You let impulsors into your heart?
I'm not
That's gonna be
making a
the new
meme for
meme.
that one.
You didn't make the first one. It was Link. Link made
Yes,
it.
but
Yeah.
I asked.
You asked. Well, we'll just have to ask Link again. I'll ask him.
So you can put one of the things that's going to be really good, I think, and a lot of the talking heads out there were talking about it when the supplement first came out, when Devout Push allowed you to get back into transports, but Hellblasters will be good in them. Um, is kind of a drop real quick, blast an opponent, and
Hmm.
then next turn kind of get back into it again. You're not
Yep.
going to be able to cheese it in with the Devout Push, but
But you might be
I
able to
mean,
devout push and hide behind the impulsor.
yeah, absolutely.
So,
So those are some tricks that you can use with that.
yep.
But the better thing is to put some Primaris Sword Brethren in them. Oh wait, I just happen to have a list that utilizes that.
I am so happy that Primaris Sword Brethren got free gear. I can't even tell you. 22 points a model gets you due to the power sword. Like hell, and 3 attacks and ignores passions. Hello, okay. So a full kitted out squad is 220 points. That will get you 2 Thunderhammers, 2 double Lightning Claws. Everybody else has a power sword, and
2 plasma pistols
two
and
plasma
four.
pistols and 4 pyre pistols.
Yep.
So yeah, 4 pyre pistols and 2 plasma pistols is not an insignificant amount of shooting. Like
No.
it'll plink off, like especially like, yeah, they're only AP, they're only strength 3, the pyre pistols, but they're AP 1, which now matters against Marines. So yeah, you're wounding them on 5s, but they're saving on 4s. And against like lower tier stuff, like strength 3 stuff, it's really good against 1 wound strength tough 3. And then plasma pistols are it's just a high value shot. Don't overcharge it, but it's a high value shot. Um, so um, so yeah, so it uh, I think the way I would kit them is I'm gonna put the 4 pyre pistols on the special weapons dudes, the Thunderhammers and the Lightning Claws, and then I'm gonna put the plasma pistols on 2 basic power sword guys. And the reason is because if in the event I need to overcharge for some reason, because maybe I'm just trying to kill one Marine on an objective, or a guy's got 2 wound left and I'm trying to kill it, right? Or I want that extra strength. Then I can overcharge and not worry about losing a Thunderhammer. That's the only
Yeah.
reason I would do that.
So sorry, I was moderating some sexy time.
Ah, yes. Yeah, we're gonna keep
But
those bots out of here.
so yeah, so they are more defined in their roles now, I think, with the changes, because Blagar veterans, we've been talking about on the channel. Before, I wasn't as enthusiastic, I should say, as Alex was on them. Um, I'm a realist. I'm a tournament player. I only use
Look how
things that
cool
are
the
going to be
models
effective on my
are.
list.
They're hands
But
down the coolest models in 40K.
they are. They are. But I 100% agree that they had a role, and they're an attacking role, and Bladeguard veterans are taking hold, kind
Yeah,
of like a troop, except in
yeah,
an elite slot.
yep.
Now they put out a ridiculous amount of damage to whatever you
Hmm.
charge, even if you are a 5-man squad. They're full Gucci'd. You have plasma pistol. You have your pyre pistol that give them the ability to deal with hordes. And if you give them a character like an Emperor's Champion or Justiciar, there's very few units that are going to be having they're gonna have issues with. It just
Yeah. Well, and then for
but
one CP, you can give them exploding hits. So this is kind of how I've looked at it now. Is the I mentioned this earlier. There's a even bigger divide now between them. Their roles should be very clear now. Whereas before, a lot of people were like, they're kind of the same. It's like that meme. Like, corporate wants you to tell us the difference between these two pictures, and the girl's like, they're the same. Um, BGV are taking hold. They're durable. They're designed to sit somewhere and not die. Yes, they can kill stuff, and they're pretty good at killing stuff, especially if it's multi-wound. But Sword Brethren are really the like nuclear missile warhead. They are not as durable, but they are going to murder everything. You've got a 10-man squad has with fully kitted out has 44 attacks compared to 25 for blade guards. So you've got 8 Thunderhammer attacks, 12 Lightning Claw attacks, and 25, 24, whatever, um, uh, Power Sword attacks. And yeah, they're damage 1 Power Sword. So, against Marines, Blade Guard probably kill, I haven't done the math yet. I'm going to. And we'll probably have a video on it. But against Marines, Blade Guard probably pick up the pace a little bit. But against anything with 3 wounds or 1 wound, Sword Bros are going to totally outclass Blade Guard. Just it's not even close, especially for a CP as exploding hits. Okay, why not? Right? I'm gonna smash this unit and it's gonna die. So
so if you're gonna do that though, you need to make sure that your list building is such that you are not investing too much into CP, especially if you're not using a CP farming Inquisitor, which now I have to like rebuild my list a little bit because I kind of relied a little bit on that CP farming. Now I can't do it. So 2 CP or more probably left over is probably where you want to be sitting.
yeah,
But yeah, they're
they're amazing.
they're going to
They're
be okay.
amazing.
Now
And I don't think
I've
they need to be in an impulsor anymore. Before I was kind of like, yeah, I think they need to. I don't think they necessarily need to be in an impulsor now because we're going to have so many other troops on the board that our opponents are going to have their hands full with the number of dudes that are just there. Azuma says, "Hello guys, just got into Warhammer and I'm building BTs first. Love all the content. Thank you so much."
Yep, we got lots for you.
Yep, we're gonna have lots more content coming soon.
Yeah, hopefully you guys have been noticing the uptick in content we've been
I've been
making a
trying to,
point
yeah, I've been
to
trying to,
make sure that
yeah. We're also we'll announce it here first, so everyone who's still watching, thank you for sticking around for this long in the live stream. Um, we are gonna start doing a monthly live stream. It's gonna be the third Sunday, and we're gonna put this on a YouTube community post as well, and you'll start to see upcoming live stream things. The third Sunday of every month, we're gonna live stream. It's gonna be Sunday morning. So folks on the East Coast USA and West Coast USA, you have to get up a little bit early. But our folks that are in other countries, across the pond, overseas, where if you're overseas and you're in Europe or something tonight and you're watching this, thank you so much for staying up so late for us.
yep,
We really appreciate it. So we're gonna make it in the morning, East Coast time. I think we set on 9 a.m. 8 or 9 a.m. I can't remember what we decided on. Um, but that'll be right in the middle of the day for our European folks, so we'll be able to make sure that we do it. And it's just going to be kind of just a chat. Bob and I will kind of have like a overarching topic that we want to chat about, but really it's going to be sort of an open forum to talk to our viewers and talk to our subscribers and see what's on your mind and see what you want to talk about. So
yeah. I mean, we don't draw on the chats that like Valrek does or some of the bigger channels, but there's 57 of you in the chat, and we
yep,
love talking to each of
yep,
each of you. Homer, why no Inquisitor? The Inquisitor hasn't changed. He's still really good, but I took him personally for the ability to take the psychic secondaries. and I don't think we need them anymore because of the changes that are coming in Arcs of Omen. With Oath coming back, being unnerfed, that's going to be a reliable secondary for us. We still have shock tactics, and then banners are unchanged. So that's three right there
Yep.
that I can take. And then if I take away the Inquisitor, that's a psychic, then it also opens up Abhor the Witch, possibly if that's a good matchup. Then I might want to take that instead of like maybe banners or instead of oaths if there's no objective in the center of the board. So
Yep. Michael Pitts says, "What do you guys think about the first player setting up their entire army before the second?" That was actually, unsurprisingly, GW not knowing how to play their own game. That was a mistake. They were thinking, I don't know, 2 editions ago or something like that. It is still exactly the same as Nephilim, so it'll be
yep.
alternating, just like it's been. They just, I don't know what they were playing.
Unfortunately, there was a couple content creators, big one being Auspex, that took it and ran with it and
Yeah,
kind of made it as more gospel as it was without
right.
actually seeing the page. And then the page leaked, and everyone was like, "Oh, well,
Yeah, yeah.
GW just doesn't know how to play their game."
Unsurprisingly.
Yep.
Crasher says the recent video about save priority. That was a Templar's tip video. That info never dawned on me. Put it to good use against yesterday against DA. Awesome. That's the whole point of Templar tips is stuff that is like you know, little known or things that don't come up too often or just stuff that you don't necessarily think about. And I wanted a short form video content. I know a lot of our content is long. Our interviews are all over an hour. A lot of our videos are pushing 30 minutes a piece. So I wanted something that was quick and easy that I could knock out some real quick information for you guys and have a real quick video that's real digestible. Um, Glad that that helped you out. If you guys have any more ideas for Templar tips, I'm still working on stuff. I'm gonna have a Math Hammer video. That one might be a little bit longer, just because explaining Math Hammer is a little math is can be a little difficult. So um, I'm gonna have one on combos, which now is changing a little bit, but that'll still be a good video. So if you have any ideas for Templar tips, toss them in our Discord, toss them on one of our community posts, anything like that. Um, so yeah, Lux, it said it's 4:36 over there. Thank you for staying up,
We
man.
appreciate it.
Yeah. So
So yeah,
yeah.
basic changes. We went over some of the changes. With Arcs of Omen and the point changes. So there's, like I said, we're not going to go through everything. You can see what the data slate is on them, but there's big ones. Shooting support goes down. Devastator squads potentially. You got
hmm
impulsors, which is transported.
Arads, heavy melta and multi meltas are free now.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Our troops are going way down in
Yeah.
price. We haven't talked about Terminators. Terminators are 33 points base. Period.
With free war gear. They're just
Free
33
war gear.
points. Yeah. Um yeah, and I think uh
Just
especially with AOC gone, Thunderhammer Storm Shield guys are, certainly something that worth taking now. I still am gonna mix actually, because you never know when you might need some lightning claws to murder some chaff or something, right? Or throw Psalm of the Remorseless on. Um, So, um, so yeah. Michael says I want Battlescribe to be updated now, now, now. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know this.
100%.
I'm actually one of the data authors for Battlescribe. I maintain most of the Space Marine files. I've got the library of all the generic units that everybody can take, Black Templars, and then I call them the Seven Samurais, the original seven combined chapters. So everything except for Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Space Wolves, and Death Watch. I maintain everything else except for those four. So points are done for all of my stuff. We are going to release when Arcs drops, which I believe is next week,
Next Saturday.
next Saturday, because we've got all the Arc stuff built out in there as well. So we're going to wait until that drops to release it all. But if you are tech a little tech savvy, you can go on the GitHub and download the master, and all the Space Marine points is for us are already on there. So Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, the creator of the app is that's a whole different story. He gone. He disappeared again, but we're going to continue maintaining the data because you know it's the most popular tool out there right now for it, and we want to make sure that people have easy ways to build lists. So Grand Enforcer, super chat. Thank you so much. He says, "Have you guys ever thought about bat reps or instructional videos for us beginners? Practical applications would be great to see you experts at work." Yeah, we were actually talking about that earlier in the stream. We're gonna be starting to do bat reps. Um, I convinced Bob to play Tabletop Simulator. So we're going to be doing some stuff on that. I talked to my local friends. They are uh, they are going to be they are all cool with me recording us playing. So we're going to do more of that because I want to play more 40K. It's hard to get everybody together. Um, so yeah, so we're definitely gonna be doing some of that. We've thought about doing some uh, potentially renovating our patron tiers. We want to offer more stuff, right? We feel like what we've got is okay,
Relevant.
but more relevant stuff to our patrons have better benefits. We've talked about having another tier that's like coaching stuff. We haven't quite worked out the details yet. So if we do that, we'll definitely let you guys know. Um, Orion, thank you
Thank you.
for the donation. That's great. We really appreciate it. Um, Assault Terminators. Homer says Assault Terminators instead of Blade Guard now. I don't know. Because
So,
you could take Thunderhammer Storm Shields. The difference is what's their names? Blade Guard can transhuman, and Assault Terminators cannot. Um,
but you are going to be in uphold most likely anyway.
yep,
So
yep. I think there's merits to both. Assault Terminator's got the damage 3 Thunderhammers, but it doesn't have as much AP. It also takes a -1 to hit. Blade Guard can, hit on threes. There's pros and cons to both. I don't think one is better than the other. What do you think?
uh, I'm going to lean towards assault terminators actually. With this change, you have the primary sword brethren that are the kill units, and then you have a durable unit that's 33 points, Thunderhammer Storm Shield, that has a higher uh, damage threshold for cheaper, has the same wounds, but it has a higher armor save. Yeah, you can't transhuman, but and there's some negatives to that. But the big difference to that is you have adaptable weaponry, so you can take lightning claws in that.
Hmm.
And in my list, I'm still probably going to do for a 5-man squad. It's going to be 3 thunder hammers to 2 lightning claw pairs for the reasons you said. There's chaff. Uh, Imperial Guard, you want to be able to kill those guys if you get into a charge. But the other big benefit is you can take a larger squad. So 5-man
Yeah,
is the biggest as you can, or 6-man is the biggest you can do for
but you won't want to do
Blade
six
Guard.
man still on a
Yeah,
Blade Guard.
but you can take a
But you
10-man
can take a
squad
10-man
for
return
assault,
race, and that
and you
and
can
that's
make them
worth
really
like
durable.
that's worth sinking character support, multiple character support in there, an apothecary for a field of pain, and the reses,
And you really
Helbrecht
don't
for the
do that
extra strength.
with a Blade Guard veteran.
Right, exactly. You might send an apothecary with them, but honestly, I think an apothecary, although he's a lot cheaper now, is better served following a big blob like that or a really expensive unit like um, centurions.
Yeah,
Um,
I think in the meta that we're going to be going into, I think you're either taking assault terminators or Primaris Sword Brethren in that role,
mhm.
honestly. Or Vanguard vets. There's still going to be
They're still
some
good.
Vanguard
They're
vets out there.
fast. They have speed. Yeah, they're the same cost as before, but now you're gonna run storm shields on them again.
Relic Terminators
So
are still
glad I
good.
didn't rip those off.
So I'm still going to be taking those. The combi bolters and chain swords are really good against vehicles, and you get some staff clearing. Um, so yeah, yeah, we got 60 people in here. Thanks,
Yeah.
Crasher, for the super
Super
chat
chat.
there.
Conspiracy theory in 10th, they are doing away with Firstborn and trying to sell all their stock. Well, I don't think it's all that far fetched. I don't know if it'll happen as soon as 10th. But I think, Firstborn are definitely um, on the way out. GW is slowly replacing a lot of their roles with Primaris units. Some key Firstborn units didn't get points drops. Vanguard vets, they saw some, but not to the extent some others. Now, I mean, some did, like tac squads, dev squads, all saw big points drops. Company vets got the punt. Uh, they still paying full price for everything. They might as well just made them legends. Like, just rip
And
the
I
band-aid off.
converted some really awesome ones too.
Yeah,
So
they're taking up like three quarters
irritated.
of a page. Just get rid of them. Like, if you're not gonna give them free gear, just get rid of them. Which
And then yeah,
incidentally, uh, another reason why I wanted them to just be legends is because they're really annoying to have to make for Battlescribe. So the way Battlescribe works, for those of you, just real quick, just for anyone who cares, is there's like groups of the weapons. So like when you go into the Space Marine Codex and it says, you can take one thing from the melee weapons list. Well, we have a melee weapons list in the thing, and a lot of units reference that. Well, they were all 1 point cost for most everybody, and most everybody now is free. So I had to put in like exceptions for the company vets on every single weapon that they have access to. It was obnoxious, but it's done. So, yeah. In any case, I don't know. I mean, there's also some firstborn units that got like stealth buffs that don't really seem like they got buffs, but they did. Like, um, technically the Land Raiders got buffs because they don't have to pay for their multi-milta anymore. They're still way overpriced, in my opinion. 245 points is not worth a Land Raider. Unfortunately, Predators got some discounts. They got free heavy bolter side sponsons and 10-point last cannon side sponsons. I don't know if I'm going to spend 135 points on a Predator Annihilator when I can, buy a Storm Strike thing, or spend 35 points more and get a Valiant. That's tough 8. Um,
they're trying to bribe you in the chat. And honestly,
oh,
I
they
didn't
are.
even know the super chats were even like
How much do I have
enabled.
to
So thank
super
you.
chat to get an early release of the BT update? Nice. Like I said, there's a way to download the master. They're on the master right now. So there's a way to do it. But come check out our Discord, and I'll show you the ways of how to do it. So yeah, super chats are a thing. I turned it on. So thank you,
Ninja
everyone.
didn't tell me.
I thought we talked about it. Anyway,
Oh,
you got some timers. Sometimes you can remember, sometimes you can't.
oh, jeez, that's funny. Look at all this gray hair.
Well, look at my beard, man. Look at this. It's like getting
So
old.
yeah, we
Don't get
have a
old,
ton of
kids.
things. Well, yeah,
So what do
old
you? I touched
36.
I touched on this earlier. What do you think about Outriders? I've been saying they should be 35 points for a long time.
A solid maybe.
A solid maybe. That might as well
So
be there are maze balls in Bob's book. Something he
so
doesn't like.
if I'm saying maybe, then I might consider them. At first, I was toying
I
around with
love
the
the
idea of
models. They're really cool.
putting them into strategic reserves, but I don't like the fact that you're stuck within 6 inches of the board edge when you come in, so that kind of ruins their mobility. Um, then you have the fact that everyone is using ruins on tournament boards, so they can't go through the ruins. So there's that, but they're cheap now. So
105 points for three dudes is not terrible.
yeah, it's not. It's they can do some work probably against some things like the assault marines that were
Which also
we
got a buff that maybe nobody noticed because they don't have any red in their thing. All the gear that was like the sergeant gear that was all 5 points, all free now. The whole thing, everything is free for them. So they're even more worth now. Eviscerators are still not worth taking. I'm not even gonna take that if it's free. I'd rather have a chainsword or a flamer. I don't know. I guess if it's free, you can take one. It's just not a very good weapon in my opinion. You're -1 to hit. I'd rather have more attacks and kill chaff and not try to worry about higher damage stuff. Um, that's just me though. Grand Enforcer says we should consider channel members as well. I don't know what we would offer. That's the thing. I know a little bit about channel members. I don't know a lot about it. I'll certainly look into it. We definitely, I mean, we have our Patreon as well, but I don't know what kind of things would. So if you have suggestions on what kind of things that we could offer channel members for YouTube's membership program, by all
yeah,
means, please pop it in the comments, and we will take a look at it.
yeah,
Um,
not the live chat though because that'll be digging through that. Put it in the
Yeah,
comments
put in
when
the
this gets
when this
reloaded.
posts. Yeah. Or put it on we recently made a community post about Patreon. Put it there. That's a perfect place to put it. So,
Battle
uh
forces. I think the Ultramarines is really good. Um, if you were playing White Scars, that would be decent. I think the other ones are probably not so good. Let me just double check here.
the
Let's see.
White Scars one was hilarious because at the time that I first saw it, I was like, "Man, what a troll post." Like not only is our Outriders terrible, but Corsar Khan is on
Yeah,
foot.
he's on foot. Yeah.
It's still a
Let's
troll post, but at least Outriders are better now.
let's see here. Oh, come on. Where are you?
Patreon, but we will roast your tournament list live on YouTube on a Friday.
Oh, jeez.
Nice.
Thanks.
Bob already does that for our sword brethren. He just makes it an audio file and sticks it in our Discord instead of
Yeah.
plastering it all over YouTube. Steve, when will Battlescribe update? When Arcs of Omen releases, but there is a way to download those files from the master. So if you want to know how to do that, come ping me in the Discord.
Everyone's pinging you right now.
Yep. There's the little
They've,
gif of
they've,
the cat with like the attacking the ping. That's gonna be me in about 5 minutes.
let's
Um, so
see. I was still gonna find those battle boxes. I know the Ultramarines one's really good, but I just want to double check. So what else we got
Iron
there?
Hands is bad. The White Scars box is a joke. I can pick that stuff up for cheaper than the box. I know, right? How many Outriders are on eBay right now for dirt cheap? Um, so um, so yeah, I forget what's in the Iron Hand ones. It was a couple of Redemptors, two Tech Marines, including Pharaohs, and like one squad of heavy intercessors or something. It was a really low model count box. It looked terrible.
There we go. I found it.
If you subscribe on Battlescribe, is it worth the money? Please don't support them. So if you subscribe on Battlescribe, this is what you get. You don't have ads, which is whatever. You get to save favorites. That's probably the best thing. You can name units and you get to save favorites. That's really the major benefit of subscribing to Battlescribe. Here's the reason why I say don't subscribe is because the creator, the actual owner of the app, has ghosted us for 3 years, has not provided an update to the program in 3 years, other than to come out of the woodwork when it was about to be pulled off the app stores and put it on uh, and put it back on there with an update that did nothing. So meanwhile, there are major flaws that we've had to work around to make the app functional. We have no access to the actual app itself, to the code. All we're doing is data authoring it, and we don't see any of the money that he is making from it. And we can't because uh, Games Workshop is would come down on us with a C and D because of it it being we're making money off their IP, which we can't do. So yeah, so we can't make money off it, which is fine. I do it because I enjoy it. You know, if you want to support us here at Implausible Nature, either with Patreon or super chats or whatever. So yeah, so don't buy Battlescribe. Just use the free version. It's just as good.
Yeah. Let's see what we got. So, oh, a lot of comments.
Yeah. Um, Man, remember when old Bayaz says, "Man, remember when he promised to do more?" Yep. And there was like posts for like a couple weeks, and then nothing. Last post was September. So wouldn't it be nice if GW had a real app? Yeah, yeah. You know, if their app was free, I wouldn't complain about it so much. But the fact that you have to pay for it, and I think Sword Brethren are still wrong on it. I think they still have wrong points costs on Sword Brethren on that GW app.
Yeah. So Crasher, Battlescribe, yes, that's basically the framework. There's a lot of different games that can plug into it, and that's how they get
Yes.
away with the not getting the IP.
Yeah.
It's very similar to another program that was out there that was super popular,
Army
Army
Builder.
Builder.
Yep.
Yep, and I believe that the Battlescribe creator was actually part of that team.
I don't remember if he was or not. Um,
Um, but it's
so
very closely based on that program. Army Builder is still around. They just don't have any data authors, so they're very slow to update things.
yeah,
So
Crasher says that it would be nice to have a better print option for it. Trying to print list comes out wonky. Yeah, the printout is very janky. However, there's a solution. There's two websites that both print out data sheet style stuff. One of them is called Pretty Scribe, and the other one is unfortunately named Butt Scribe. Don't ask me. You might want to put a 40K when you Google search that. You don't end up in some place you don't want to be. But yeah, both of those will output your data. I think it's either the like text paste bin copy or maybe you import your actual roster. I can't remember. I'd have to go and check on it again. But it'll actually parse Battlescribe data and make data sheet style things. It's very clean. It's really nice looking. It only puts options that you have. So if your unit data sheet is like this big because you've got 80,000 options, I'm looking at you, veteran intercessors and sword brethren. It's not going to show all that crap. It's just going to show whatever options you have. So
Homer, or you
pretty,
don't.
pretty scribe, butt scribe. Those are the two. So
Get a good laugh out there.
yep.
So comments out there. Let's see. There was another I was going to comment on. Iron Hands are the best Marines now, in my opinion. I think Raven Guard's next to us. Then maybe us. So I think Iron Hands are probably going to benefit the most on this. They're going to be top of the
They
Marine
got they can
list.
stay in dev all the time now.
Before I think, yeah, which I don't think we talked about. But one of the changes is the assault,
Oh
like the
yeah, we didn't talk
doctrine
about the
system.
doctrines. It's back to the way it originally was back in eighth, where you
Yep.
don't have to switch.
Yep.
You can switch, and it rotates the same way as it does now, but it's not forced anymore. And you can stay in Dev Doctrine all game, or after turn one, you can stay in Tac Doctrine all game. Um,
which which makes scoring Codex Warfare a little bit easier. Um, so I mean that's something plausible, but you just have to make sure with Codex Warfare you do need to kill things in each
in that
doc.
doctrine,
Yeah, so
yeah,
you do have to eventually change, so you can't just sit in
you can
Devastator
actually
Doctrine.
because it's from what I understand, uncapped.
It is capped.
It
It's
is
at
still
max
capped.
5. Yeah,
Is it
it's 5.
okay? So either way, you have to kill it with that specific weapon, which is not always easy to do. And you could actually end up being more inefficient uh, by doing that. Oh, I need to kill it with a heavy weapon. Oh, I ran out of heavy weapons. I guess I'll kill it with a. You're either going to lose points or you're not going to kill the thing. Um, so the The other thing is uh, something about doctrines. It also raises the value of the Crusader helm again. That's back to being quite good. And the losing AOC is another buff to Aurelion Shroud. Like you said, Bob, we're back to our release, the way
Yep.
things were intended to be used. We're going to probably see some more play of those. A couple of super chats. Another one from Grand Enforcer. Thank you so much. Any thoughts, theories, hopes, and dreams? The upcoming Brutalis Dreadnought. I want to believe it will be nice and fluffy for Black Templars. Um, well, I've I know some information about that. I will say it is nice and fluffy. I don't know how competitive it will be. It will depend on its points. That's what I'll say. It has some nice options. At the time that I saw it, it was almost as much as a regular Redemptor, and that wasn't worth it. Now that everything is free, I don't know if that trend will continue into the whatever the next Space Marine Codex is. There's been a lot of talk about a Codex 2.0 in ninth edition, or if that's going to be actually the 10th edition Space Marine Codex. We don't know. Whatever the next Marine Codex is in, it's probably going to be in there. Um, it's going to depend on its points, honestly. So yeah.
Yeah.
Another super chat, Dakota. Thank you so much. What's up, guys? How about a pair of impulsors with Sword Brethren? Bomb down the board and slam into people fully loaded. Love the content. Take my money. Um, well, it's funny. I don't know if you saw our most recent list video. Bob's most recent list does just exactly that. Two sword brethren squads and impulsors, and he's going to continue to run that, and only now with more stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, that's
It gained
absolutely a
549 points.
well, kind of. You It went down 300 something points, and then because of the free war gear, you were able to snatch up another 250 points. So yeah, that's just kind of absurd. It's definitely a thing. It's even more of a thing now. And absolutely run them full Gucci. We talked about this on the video, which you can go check out on the channel if you want to see the whole thing. But Bob splits them typically the Thunder Hammers in one, the Lightning Claws in the other. So that way, and then he was running them with Helbrecht and a Judiciar. So and a Holy
Going
Orb.
to
You're still
change
taking the
slightly.
yeah. You're still taking the Holy Orb, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll still be taking the Holy Orb, but they're going to be all my new version. I paper and penned it. They're all obviously going to be the complete full Gucci with the pistols and
Yeah.
everything on it.
Yeah.
Right now, it does not have Helbrecht in it. It has
That's
an
such
Emperor's
heresy. How
Champion.
could you not put Helbrecht in the? You put a Phobos captain in there instead. I can't believe it,
I
Bob.
did. I did. And the reason why is
He's really
I
good.
I took Witch Seeker bolts
Mm,
because of the meta right now in the armies that are really strong, even though they get nerfed a little bit, are psychic buffers, and we have no way of really eliminating them uh, because they're always screened out with this massively durable unit. With like in Chaos, it was Terminators. Now I'm probably not going to see Terminators, but it's going to be like Chosen. But there's still going to be big blocks of them.
hmm
Good luck killing that sorcerer. I need a way to kill the sorcerer, and if you can kill the sorcerer, game over. We
Yeah.
can deal with the other stuff. Uh,
Witch Seekers are
it,
awesome too. Like I've been wanting for a legit excuse to take them, and the Phobos Captain is probably the best thing to. That's another one that I'll put on the combos list. Phobos Captain with Witch Seekers. The reason is one, his gun is assault, so you can advance and fire it if you needed to. It's also got a 30-inch range, so it's not terrible. It can pick out characters anyway, but it's damage 3, and yeah, it's only strength 4, but it's damage 3. So if you get it through, you might actually outright kill them. And he hits on 2s. So it's just all around a really good combo. And he also has the Omni Scrambler thing, so he screens out 12 inches too. So you're getting like a bunch of bonuses. Now he has a camo cloak, which is kind of irrelevant now that uphold is going to be our default vow. Unfortunately, really nerfs eliminators for us. Um, but I don't know. We'll have to see how it shakes out. We are probably going to do at some point another vow tier list of, not really a tier list, I guess. What vows we taking against what army? It's probably going to be mostly uphold. There'll probably be a few where we won't. Votan, I could see us just taking accept any challenge because they don't have a lot of high AP stuff. Um, with a couple exceptions, railguns being one, I think. um,
Yep.
and they have void armor, so accept any challenge helps punch through that.
Yep. Do we know anything about Primaris jump packs? No comment.
No comment.
They exist.
They've
They
yeah,
exist.
various forms. Um, so yeah, that's all we can really say about that. Essentially, a Primaris version of a Furioso. That's basically what the Brutalis is. Yeah. Um, Sniping out guards officers is really strong. Was on the receiving end of it. Yeah. So and the Phobos captain will do that because he's got damage 3. Most guard models I think have 3 wounds, 4 wounds maybe. Um, so and that their strength 4 is okay there because you're wounding on 3s. So yeah. How about those new rocket troops? Not sure what you mean. Rocket troops?
Valrak basically totally leaked the whole thing on
Oh,
the
did he? Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So they're all exist. I think they'll be reasonably decent on them. They're not really our thing. I think they're going to be really good in Iron Hands if they stay the same style of uh, in the new book. Uh,
Yeah.
but
That's a long
it's
ways from now. It's too hard
yeah,
to
it's still
speculate. We're still trying to get a handle on this on these changes. I'm scrolling through here real quick. I want to see if there's any other things that we missed.
yeah.
Um,
Here's your chance if you want to pop it in. So we'll probably wrap up here in just a few moments.
yeah. Yeah. Any questions that you guys have before we end here? Um, Bob, you mentioned flyers might be good for us again. The Storm
I'm in
Talon.
third though.
The Storm Talon, I mean, they didn't go down at all, but they all got free gear. The Storm Talon might not be bad for 165 points. You mentioned the Storm Raven. I don't know. 260 points is still a lot for a flying or land raider.
I mentioned
Uh,
that before I knew about the first turn. They're stuck in reserve.
I think that's
So
a good thing. I like it.
I'm bitter. I'm bitter.
At least we got our swarms of crusaders. Yes, they did not forget us. So yeah. What's our opinion on transports now that they are so cheap? I think impulsors are amazing. Repulsors are still terrible. Um, Rhinos and Razorbacks are okay. But the problem with Rhinos and Razorbacks is what are we putting in them? Because most of our firstborn units that we're taking either can't ride in them or don't need to ride in them. Like Van Vets don't need a ride; they can buy jump packs. Terminators can't ride in them. Centurions can't ride in them. Land Raider Crusaders,
Stern guard maybe.
Sternguard maybe Devs. I don't know. Um, Land Raiders are uh, yeah, they get a free multi melta, but I just can't justify 245 points. If I'm putting the only thing I'm putting in a Land Raider is Centurions, and they're 310 now, 325 if you take the Crux or Icon, which you absolutely should take one of those. Um, and now I'm investing over a quarter of my army in 2 units.
Yep.
So,
And
and
realistically, you're
er,
getting to the center of the board in 2 turns anyway.
exactly. And we're gonna have so many other models on the board that if like they're focusing all their efforts on your Centurions, fine. They're gonna soak it, and the rest of your army is gonna murder them and take objectives. So I don't think they're necessary. I was really hoping Land Raiders would go down about like 30 points. If well, you get a Land Raider Crusader, especially the Crusader, its guns are terrible. Like Hurricanes are nice, but it only has two of them, and assault cannons are really just not good. Its main reason is its transport capacity, and if it had gone down to maybe 215, I'd consider it. But 245 is too expensive in my opinion. The
Now on
only
the
good one.
transport,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna say that he said Bayaz says the only good Land Raider right now is the Cass one. Yeah, because isn't it tough 9 with good las cannons
And cheaper.
and cheaper? Freaking heretics.
I will say with the transport, I would be careful to not overload. The impartials are good at that price point,
Don't buy 5 of
points,
them.
but don't overload your board because then you're not going to be able to move around. Because again, ruins are in existence. Good luck
Yeah,
trying to get around the board with 5 impulsors.
yeah,
2, 3, you probably could get away with 3, but 2, 1, I think definitely you can definitely say it's you can use it.
yeah.
Um,
Must have been an oversight. Oh, wait, everyone stop. Did Loyalist Marines not get the bomb toughest? No, they did not.
they did not.
And I don't. I honestly, I don't think it was an oversight. I think GW did it on purpose, and we're not going to see a buff in Land Raiders for Loyalists. Uh, if we do, it will be in the next Codex, and if even then, it may not even be then.
Yeah.
Remains to be seen. I'd love, believe me, I got like 2, 3 Land Raiders. I'd love to be able to run a Land Raider again. I got 2 painted ones. You can't see them because we got our screen up, but behind me on my shelf is a painted Land Raider.
Awesome
So
unit. Awesome unit.
they're so cool. They're
But
classic. They're just still not worth taking. Lux says if they would just change the stupid rule with the Primaris units, 10 Assault Intercessors, 5 Blade Guard Vets, and a Juicy were worth it. If I could put Primaris in a Land Raider Crusader, absolutely I would take I would take one because I'd stuff it full of Sword Brethren and characters. And Can you imagine like 10 Sword Brethren, Hellbricked, and a 5-man something, Hellblasters or something, just disembarking from that thing? Wouldn't that be awesome? The funny thing is there's no lore reason. There's literally stories where Primaris are riding in Land Raiders. So it's a purely game mechanic decision. I don't know. It's dumb. In any case, I think we kind of covered all the things we wanted to talk about, right, Bob? Anything else that you wanted to talk about with the balanced data slate, points, arcs of omens, anything with all the new changes?
just overall, I just want to retouch again. Secondaries are going to be much easier for us again. Banners, oaths, and shock tactics are going to be probably some of those primary ones, unless you got to kill secondary on your opponent potentially. Which assassinate might be legitimate on a lot more things, especially with Oak Orman. With the arcs of Omen detachment, a lot of people talking about taking 4 HQs. I am not one of those people, by the way. Just hot take. I am not one of those people. I am not going to give up
I'm one of those people considering for
assassinate.
4 HQs.
Not doing it. You're going to get your 12 points max. Not doing it.
Yeah.
But it's going to be great that we have the ability to get some secondaries again. You don't have to play the trade game with the new points. So, I mean, I prefer it. I've played tons and tons of games, and I feel like the ninth edition is really kind of geared towards trading, unless they make a big change in the missions, which on the previews I've seen in the games, it doesn't sound like there's going to be big changes on it. So trading is still going to be very effective, but you could still go heavy body, and we excel at that, honestly. So
A
big
hundred
blocks.
Crusaders. 100 Crusaders.
I'm gonna slaughter you. I'm gonna slaughter you.
Sean says scout squads with uphold and access to obsec when needed do seem like a decent annoyance now. Here's my problem with scouts, and this is why I think even with free gear, I still think they're one of, if not the worst unit in the codex. Oh, which reminds me, there was something I want to talk about. Get to that in a second. Um, this is my problem with scouts. They are 12 points a model, so they went down. Good, cool. Free war gear, cool, good. Votan Kin are 11 points a model and better. They have the same stat line and void armor. Why are scouts 12 points a model? They should be 10 because they're worse. They're worse kin. That's my
Give them
take.
something. Give them something.
I mean,
I,
put them back
I
in the
mean,
troops. Honestly, put scouts back in the troop slot, and give them the same rule that cultists have for chaos, where you can't take more scouts than other troop types. I think that would solve. I think that was the whole reason they got moved in the first place, is because um, uh, people were spamming only scouts to just get the cheap troop tax. What are you laughing at? 100 Crusaders is an actual list. Yes, I know, Bayaz. Did you hear me? I don't know if you heard me earlier. Yeah, it's Helbricht, Grimaldus, two Primaris Lieutenants, 100 Crusaders, and three Servitors. That's 2,000 points on the nose.
yes, Steve, we do. Let me just pull up the link real quick.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the. We'll put it in the new description for all those watching, so that you can get it. There is some people that are stealing our design, and
hmm
the
Don't
companies
buy
that are
anything that says implausible nature on it unless it is posted either in our Discord or on our YouTube page.
yes. So the companies that are hosting these are playing hardball, and basically they want us to sue them legally to get them to pull down the sites.
Some of
Which,
them have been okay, and some of them have just been difficult about it, and it's really annoying. Orion wants to know, why does my Redemptor Dread roll 2 attacks against knights and 6 versus a single gaunt? I assume you're talking about the plasma, and it do be like that. So yeah, make sure you're using implausible nature dice. We didn't plug our dice. How could we not have done that? Well, hopefully we still have a lot of people watching. Our dice are back in stock on baronofdice.com. The description, the link is in the doobly doo, and they're back in stock. Use discount code IN40K to save a little bit of money on your order. Uh, and Yeah, check them out. They're great. They're square sided, so they're going to roll more evenly than the rounded corner dice, and they have an awesome implausible nature logo on them.
yeah,
So
better get them quick because there's only like 400 left.
yeah,
We have to
uh,
make another batch.
we're gonna have to make another batch, which will be in a couple more months. And we're gonna start doing like some exclusive designs for them too, like limited run stuff. Um, there was one suggestion for on the Patreon suggestion thing to do exclusive Sword Brethren dice, something like that. So look out, we're gonna have some more dice designs coming up in the new year. So that way you can roll multiple things at once, or just have a variety of dice.
And they roll magically. I've seen so many people talking about how well they roll, and I'm like, I told you, these
They're
things are
great.
amazing.
I love
They're
them.
great. Yeah, they're really nice.
Yeah, Eric's is better than metal dice. Listen, no dice are better than your cheaty ass metal dice, Eric. Eric is one of the guys I play with. So, so anyways, I think the last thing I was gonna talk about, but bottom of the barrel codex units. I unironically think that Reavers are a pretty solid take right now. They're 16 points a model with free war gear. They can deep strike. They can move across terrain like jump pack units. Um, they and they have good strats. Reavers, unironically, potentially good unit. So I got to look back into them because it's been a while since I looked at their data sheet. But uh, look out. I might be testing some lists with Reavers in them.
I got some Reavers in the dunk tank right now, waiting to be stripped.
So, Lux says, "Is this the right link?" Yes, that should be the right link. So,
ePublic is the company that you want to go through.
yeah,
No other company. Stolen.
stolen.
But
I'll
yeah.
I'll pop the dice link real quick in here for you guys if it will load. There we go. Uh, where's
So I
the
just want to
cool?
thank everyone for joining us. I know it was
Yeah,
almost a 2 hour stream, but it's
yeah.
fun. I love just talking about our army. I don't know about you guys as having a forum to be able to talk and just chat, being with the community. I know we're not easy to find on YouTube because we don't pop up on a lot of. If you search Black Templars, we're way down the list, which is dumb.
Which is
But
weird.
Implausible Nature is what I started my website off as a long time ago. So, and I had a lot of the following with that, so we kept the name. But thanks for being with us,
Yep.
joining, watching. I know
Also,
we've
look out
had.
for updates on the Implausible Nature website. If any of you follow that, we do want to start putting some content stuff on there because we still have people asking about, hey, well, they haven't updated in a while. That's something else we want to do in the new year, so look out for that. So, anyway, yeah, like Bob said, thank you guys so much for joining us. Thanks everyone for supporting us tonight. It's been a lot of fun chatting with everyone, and we will, if not beforehand, we will definitely do this again on Sunday morning. Third Sunday of this month is going to be our first Sunday live stream. Of hopefully the first of many. So yeah, once again, thanks everyone for hanging with us tonight. It's been a lot of fun, and we will talk to you guys later.
Have a good one.